It's pronounced Kartoffelpuffer. It's a really complicated name because it's German. But this was the one that I found that was like kind of like, it wasn't a United States dish, but it was like the easiest one to make, and I'm not really a good chef. So this is what we'll be making. So what you need are 3 potatoes, medium sized, because they didn't have much because of the famine, and like nobody like really wanted to trade with Germany. So we'll be using 3 medium potatoes. It said 1 small onion, but where am I gonna find that in this day and age? So I'm using like half of an onion-ish. 1 egg, because they didn't really have much. Salt and pepper. I have my tablespoon for measuring. Vegetable oil. I promise it's vegetable oil. And then a grater to grate. And then I also need flour. So I'll also be using flour. I guess it's like, it's kind of like pancakes if they were potatoes, but they're not pancakes, so. So the first step is to peel and grate the onions and the potatoes into a bowl. And then after you do that, you're going to squeeze out the excess liquid, I guess because they didn't really like it, like y'all in a war, but like your first thought is to be picky. Like, I don't know. Let me get the peeler though, because I forgot it. So I have gotten my potato peeler. So that's the first step. There's a trash can right there. I'm not just dumping it onto the floor. I peel potatoes sometimes, but for historical context on this, Germany obviously was not on the right side of the war, but they were under the impression that they were. So they didn't really have much because nobody was willing to trade with like a place that was like so negative and full of hate and so like biased. So they were like really struggling. Like it was kind of like really bad. Like but for women during this time, most of them were working in place of the men. So like they would like take over factory jobs. They would like run their shops. They would like do all of this. So this is like where the idea, like this idea originated in the United States. But like it was like Rosie the Riveter, how she was like so powerful, and she was basically seen as like, she was the OG girl boss. Like you look at her and you're like, wow, I want to be her. That's like, that was like then, like everybody wanted to be her, because back then it was like so rare for women to be in work fields in general. But also they had kids at home to like feed and stuff. So like after work they would like obviously cook for their kids, and in Germany like this was one of the dishes. It's like kind of like, from the pictures that I saw, they were like pancakes if they were potatoes. They kind of look a lot like hash browns if I'm being honest. So yeah. So I'm still peeling the potatoes. I have 1 peeled very beautifully. I can peel potatoes, but don't ask me to cook like a gourmet meal, because I will not be doing that unless you want to see my house get burnt down. I do it for the extra credit though. Another thing about the war, I recently worked on a paper, and it was a movie. It was based on a movie. The name is like completely slipping my mind. I'm sure I'll insert it. But basically, America's pastime was baseball. Oh, A League of Their Own. So A League of Their Own is also based in World War II. And America's pastime was baseball. But there were no men around to play baseball. So their next thought was to get women into the league. And they were really good. But obviously, like, nobody wanted to accept that. So for entertainment, women also had to do that. So they had to do the jobs. They had to do, like, the entertainment. They had to do the cooking. They were basically, like, they ran the streets. like when the war was happening, because like the men were off at war, so like what were they gonna say? Like, don't do my job for me? Like, America still has to run. And you know, they were obviously like going through poverty and all of that, but you know, they still like powered through, which is so amazing. And it's so important to women's history, because on top of like, you know, having to like do something that they've never done in their life, like they risked a lot, because like those jobs were never safe, but they weren't warned about the precautions, because who was gonna warn them? The men at war. Like, you know, they basically kind of like risked their lives. And there were even women in the military, you know, as hated as they were, but you know, they were just out there like, you know, doing their thing. And it's normal for us now to have like, you know, jobs and all of that. But back then it was like, oh, you have a job? Like, you know, like they like looked at you weird. And now when you don't have a job, people are judging you, you know? I'm going to grate the potatoes and the onions into a bowl. I was going to do it on the cutting board, but it says into a bowl. So, don't mind me. I've actually never grated potatoes. I did one time. I grated, like, I think it was cheese. And then I cut my fingers. So, like, I'm, like, terrified of graters. But it's okay. Anything for the credit. More history about World War II. Women were just out there. They were doing what they had to do. They were, like, you know, making sure that the jobs were done. That at the end of the day, like, they did. I'm gonna put this, transfer it into a bowl afterwards. It's like kind of hard. But they were doing what they had to do, and they were, you know, pushing it, and they just had like their, like, I feel like they kind of ran it better than the men did. But men weren't ready to accept the fact that women, like, you know, despite the fact that it was like written in their biology that all that their job was to raise children and, like, you know, be housewives and cater to men. Like, that clearly was not the case when World War II came around, because at the end of the day, they were the ones kind of like saving it. And there's also like times in history like where women were so crucial to like the development of major things. Like the first moon landing was thanks to a woman's code, and men like took credit for that. Like, that's happened a lot throughout history, where women do something and then like men take the credit. And honestly, it really sucks. And I know that there's a scientist, her name is passing me, but she also like did some major work. And guess who got credited? A man. But I think that we're progressing as a society for sure. Obviously, we're not like perfect, because the wage gap still exists and nobody wants to acknowledge it. But I feel like it was thanks to World War II that like men were able to see that women were definitely competent, and there's like no reason that they should be staying at home, you know, just cooking and, you know, doing the cleaning and all of that, when they were basically limiting their potential. Like, they could have been like working women. They could have been like, you know, helping with the income and not just the house. But people don't understand that. Like, they just kind of like brush over it. Like, yeah, women used to like not have any rights, but now they do. Like, they do, but they don't have as much as they should, because men definitely have it like way easier. That's not to hate on men. It kind of is, because like, why do you guys have it easy and why do I not? But, you know, it's just really, like, if you sit there and you're someone who thinks that women like already have equal rights just because they can vote and get jobs and all of that, not really. Like, feminism has definitely impacted the way that laws are, the way that, like, you know, the way that you know, all of that works. But it's not as good as it can be. It could be better. And it's not even to sound like greedy. I'm not sure if it was for this class or for another class, but I had to watch a film called Ovarian Psychos. I really recommend it, because, you know, I was watching it and I just felt so empowered the whole time, because these women, what they did is they kind of like organized, I believe it was monthly bicycle rides, where they would like bike for rights. Like, that they didn't have. And by doing that, they were like risking their parents, like their family's opinions of them. Like, they could have like completely like shattered like all their like expectations of them. to just be housewives and all of that, which people still have those beliefs that like women are like not meant for like the workforce, that they are meant to just be at home cooking, which is fine if you want that. And that's what feminism is all about. You have the right to choose. But some people think that that's the only rights that they should have, which is not fair at all. And even some women I've seen that they think that their only right should be to cook and clean, which if you want to do that, go for it, girl boss. Nobody's stopping you, but don't stop other women for doing what they want to. You know, they should have the right to be able to do what they want to as well. You know, as controversial as it may seem to them. But if you believe that a woman's right is to stay at home, you stay at home and let other women do what they want to do. You know, that's the whole point of feminism. The whole point is to choose. That's what it is. It's not to take away what you want. It's to give you the option to do what you want. But back to World War II. There was a lot of famine going around just because, like, there was not many people around to do a lot of things like agriculture, like trading, things like that. Even if the women were taking over these jobs, they weren't, you know, everywhere. And, you know, you're focusing on a war, so most of your resources go there. So, like, car making companies and all of that, there were many companies, like, who just switched over to making weapons because that would, like, make them more profit, things like that. And it's just so important to history that, like, you understand that the famine wasn't because the women weren't doing their job. It's because when you're going through a war, most of your efforts go to weapons and trying to win the war, not making food and hoping that Sally gets her cupcakes. You know? So it's so important to understand that these struggle meals were like, they weren't your typical, like, peanut butter on dry bread. Like, they were genuine. Like, they tried to cook with what they had, but it definitely was not the same as, like, you know, our current struggle meals. Like, I've seen, like, ice cream on bread, and they call it ice cream sandwich. It literally kind of is. But I think that people need to just see the war for what it was. It was definitely something that could have potentially been avoided. But at the same time, like, you know, at the time, like, you're thinking, oh, like, this guy, he's probably not gonna do much. He's, like, just one guy. And, like, you know, looking back on the impact, it's, like, crazy how, like, things can just spiral. Like, they can absolutely spiral. I have one more potato left. So I'm going to be talking more about the historical context of women in the workforce. Originally, they weren't even supposed to be there. You know, like, the whole... I feel like if the war never would have happened, they probably wouldn't be in the workforce just because they wouldn't be needed there. So the fact that they were there, like, it made, like, people upset because at the time, like, that wasn't the norm. Like, it is now, so it's absurd to think that they were upset that women were working when we see that every day now. But they were, like, upset, so, like, but there wasn't really anything much else that they could do. Because what were they supposed to say? Don't work and let's go ruin our country. You know, like, they couldn't have said that. So, like, reluctantly, they accepted women into the workforce. They let them, you know, do their thing. And this kind of, like, worked to build their rights, which is pretty awesome. I think that they really, really, really contributed to why women have the rights that they do. Obviously, we can continue to fight for more rights. But it wasn't as easy then than it is now. Because now we have, like, the basic rights. Like, we have the right to vote. We have the right to work. We have the right to our own bank account. You know, everything that, like, you know, feminism has granted us that is normal to us would not have been normal back then. Like, it's thanks to feminism that we are allowed to, like, voice our opinions and stuff like that. Wear pants too, which is so crazy. I'm wearing pants right now. I, like, don't even think twice about it. But, like, back then you would have had to, like, wear skirts, and, you know, like, feminism basically broke through that. Like, wearing pants was, like, such a big thing for women when it was, like, so normal for men, and it's so normal for us now. But back then it was, like, so, like, oh my god, wow, you're wearing pants, like, that's so awesome. And it was awesome. But the important thing above all is to understand that these women fought for our rights. I'm going to put the potatoes into a bowl. They fought for our rights, and they fought to ensure that we had the right to our opinions, most of all. Feminism is just kind of like rights to an opinion. You know, you can have your own opinion. Oh, you don't like feminism? Great. Like, that's what feminism is all about. Like, go ahead and choose, girl. I'm going to be grating the onion. I don't know how much to grate, so I'm not going to do too much. I don't like onion. Like, not much of my family does either. So I'm going to hope for the best with this. And hopefully I don't cut my finger. I haven't done it so far, so I don't think I will. I hope. Okay. I was reading the next step from my little book. My book of spells. I can't believe that, like, this was, like, so normal. Like, you guys weren't scared of graters back then? I definitely am. My hands are clean. So I'm just, like, cleaning off the grater and letting it put it in the bowl. So the next step is to drain, which is what I will be doing right now. The next step is to combine the mix with... Okay, so I have it on 2 different pages, so, like, we're just gonna have to figure it out. It's right there. That's one side. I should have just done it, like, you know, equal sides. But we need a tablespoon mostly. But you mix it with 1 egg. I'm so good at cracking eggs. 1 egg. How much? Or is that like, oh, that's half a tablespoon of salt. This is my tablespoon. So what I usually do, because I like to bake, so what I usually do is I just pour in the salt and then split it in half. That's like 1/4 max. Like, come on, what are you doing? Gordon Ramsay would be so disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I think that was half. And then half a tablespoon of pepper, which, why do we need that much? Oh, 1/4. Thank God. Okay, I hope that was 1/4. 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Okay, I know how to do 2 because it's just 1 plus 1. More history facts is that during the World War II, when women would be taking over, like, the baseball league, their uniforms weren't even like the baseball uniforms that you would see men in, but they had them in, like, dresses. And it obviously, like, made, like, playing ball hard. And in the movie A League of Their Own, it details that. Like, it shows the women, like, clearly being unhappy with, like, having to, like, play a sport like that, because obviously it was, like, for flashing purposes, and it's like, nobody wants to flash anyone, and if you do, like, do that at home. And they didn't want to do that because they weren't at home. So, you know, like, they were reasonably mad, but, like, the managers were like, yeah, sorry, this is what's gonna bring in the money, because that's what they wanted more than anything. They wanted money. Like, that was just, like, they didn't have much of that, but they were still trying to, like, present themselves as, like, oh yeah, we have money, but they didn't. They were broke. The next step is to combine the mix that we made with the onions and the potatoes with the salt, pepper, egg, flour, and then mix it until the batter forms. If I did this right, it should work, which I'm not sure I did that right, because there's more potato than batter. I'm gonna mix it with a spoon. I don't know if whisks existed back then. Maybe they did. I'm gonna wash my hands and just watch over this and make sure it doesn't go anywhere. My hands are clean. So the next step is to mix it until it becomes a batter. Hopefully it does, because if it doesn't, then I did something wrong. But that's the recipe that I read online, where it said to just mix it until it became batter. And I'm mixing it with the spoon just because some flour stuck to it. So I was like, maybe that'll complete, like, the two tablespoons of flour that we needed. I think it was 2 tablespoons. I hope it was. I think it's starting to mix, though. This is what it looks like so far. I haven't been showing, but it looks pretty good so far. I hope. I'm not really a chef. Gordon Ramsay, please don't come for me.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Yeah, mixing batter. It looks like what I would eat if I was in a famine. This would be like my struggle meal. Yeah, I think I would eat this if I was struggling, but I don't really know how we're supposed to do this. It does say make like pancakes. That's what I put. So when I make pancakes, which I'm only really good at making breakfast. So if I ever get like married and I decide that I'm gonna be a housewife and not like a lawyer, we're gonna have breakfast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you're gonna have to live with it, you know? Because I can't make anything else. But that's okay, you know? You're not gonna marry me to become, you know, Gordon Ramsay's wife. I think I'm almost done with the batter. I hope it looks right. Notoriously. I tried to study German. It didn't really work out. I can't even like introduce myself because I kind of forgot. But, you know, I used to know how to like greet you and tell you what my favorite color was. You know, because I feel like that's what Germans would have wanted to know. I think it's batter. So the next step is moving to a very flammable area. So I will proceed with caution. Okay, so I think you can hear it. I turned on the stove and I'm gonna wait for it to heat up a little bit because I usually do. Walks away when I'm making pancakes. So I'm getting oil because otherwise it's gonna stick. It didn't really say in my instructions how to do it. So I'm just gonna hope and pray for the best. And yes, I will be cleaning up after myself afterwards, okay? I know how to respect places. It's really liquidy. I think it's supposed to be like this because, you know, I'm not sure. I hope so. I will also be getting my siblings to taste test. You know, I asked them to, and they agreed. First try. So hopefully they like it. I'm not sure if they will. I think they will, maybe. They might. I lowered the heat just now. I will be pouring some oil, and then I don't know if you do this, but when I pour oil, I pour it in the center. I think everyone does this. I'm acting like this is niche. No, but yeah. I'm swirling it around. So it said make like pancakes, but it's not really like liquid. It's like kind of like this. So I think I need a spatula to flip it, obviously. We have one right here. Spatula. So I'll be pouring like a little bit and hope for the best. Okay, so I made a smaller one. I'm not sure if lifting it is safe, but I'll do it anyway. Anything for that grade. So I just flattened it with the spatula because it doesn't spread like pancakes do. So yeah, there's that. I will also, after this, like I wasn't really like spitting like facts that much. I was. I swear I wasn't making up anything, I hope. This is from what I read. It says like 3 to 4 minutes, but if I'm being honest, I'm not trying to burn it. So I'm just gonna be like, you know, like when you like make pancakes, like you like constantly check on it. Ooh, it broke in half. It's okay. I'm not Gordon Ramsay, and I'm not cooking for Gordon Ramsay. So I think that's a good thing. Don't cook for Gordon Ramsay if you don't want to be judged. It's split in half though, and it doesn't look too bad. Like, it looks just fine. I'm also not like filming it like that just because you can't see my head, and my head's like, I'm like not trying to like crouch down, you know. I think that's a great angle, but it did say until it was golden brown. I completely flipped it over like yellow. We'll talk about that. Oh, okay, this one's good. It's looking good. We just need to get the other one to look like that. If it will. Hopefully. Please. Yeah, it's split down the half though. So let me ask the audience.
Let me ask the audience.
I'm like pressing down because maybe that'll like help it a little bit better. It kind of does look like pancakes though. Like, it's pretty similar to pancakes. So, oh, I need a plate. We'll plate it on the Coca-Cola plate. When it's ready. I don't think it's ready yet. And she can take her time. Okay, we are not rushing. It is 6:47 right now. I was gonna film this earlier. I think I forgot though. It's also my brother's birthday. Happy birthday! So, you know, there's that too. I got him a carrot cake from Ralph's and a Dr. Pepper because he loves those. I don't know what he sees in them. They're like kind of nasty, but that's okay. I'm not judging, just hating. There's a difference. They look good though. I think this is what the whole point of that was. Yeah. So, the next step, I'm not sure if I have to add more oil. I hope I do. If not, we just completely ruin them. Oh, it's still sizzling. Okay, so I will scoop up more batter. Oh, okay. Don't worry. Okay, this is fine. I'm just trying not to burn myself. I did that one time with eggs. Never again. I actually stayed away from making eggs for a while because of that. I'm making 2 now, just because I could do it the first time, so I should be able to do it the second time. Off my mom's phone. Yeah, but it did say wait 3 to 4 minutes, but I feel like wait 3 to 4 minutes for the first one. It should be easier the second time, I think. Okay, I can't flip it. Yikes. Oh, okay. So yeah, it was shorter this time. So I think it was like the first time that you need a... Oh, okay. So I can't flip the second one. I lied. I just flipped it. You have to say you can't do something in order for it to work. But, you know, there's that. My camera thing says it's crooked, so I'm gonna fix it. There we go. It like made like a minimal difference between everything. This is what they look like. Let me ask the audience.
Let me ask the audience.
It's starting to smell like I can smell, I don't know. It came and then it went, so I didn't get enough of a whiff. I think pressing down really worked though, because that one's ready and this one's also ready. So we still have batter, so I'm gonna do the same thing again. Add a little bit more oil, swirl it around, and then add more. Okay, that oil actually kind of almost dumped at me. And that's okay. Wouldn't be the first time I have burn marks, you know. I try to crack an egg from like up here because I was like, maybe it won't burn me. No, it did burn me. And I think I had like burn marks for like the longest time. It was kind of funny looking back. But like then I was like, I'm never touching an egg again. Yeah. You know, I was like so dramatic for nothing. Ooh. The oil's feeling a little violent. Okay. So I have 4 made, and then that's 6. So I'm probably gonna make like 6 or 7.
You having a good time, man?
You know, just because that's literally how many are gonna, like, it's not even like trying to make a reference. I did not plan this out, clearly. Like, I'm completely like, there's no script. I'm just like, this is completely off the dome. But yeah, we are doing it. This is also like really low. That's okay. We are not Gordon Ramsay level. I love the sound of sizzling. It just feels so delightful. Like Christmas is coming. Like it's like kind of like a warning in a way. It's like pretty in that way. Warnings aren't pretty, but this one is. I'm also trying to talk to fill the silence. I could also just insert songs, but the real song is my voice. I think this is the last one. Maybe. Yeah, it might be. Okay. 1, 2. I'm trying to be like the Germans and not waste a drop. Oh my god, this one's kind of shaped like a heart. I might shape it. Okay, I've shaped this one like a heart. Oh, that's so cute. You can't see it. Too low. This don't need anymore. It's empty. I feel like back then, if like their kids would be like, "Oh, mom, I'm full," I would be like, you know, like they would be like all menacing. I was also taught never to waste food. You know, sometimes a girl gets full though. So what I do instead of throwing the food away is I put it in aluminum foil, like a wrap, and then boom, save it for later. This is the last one. So I think I made like 6 or 7. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the 7th one. So I made 7 in total with the measurements given. I will be adding the recipe in case you want to feel like a fan in German, which I'm not sure. I also forgot to turn on the light the whole time. So yeah, there's the light now. Whatever. I don't believe in second takes. I do. When I was working on A League of Their Own for like a communications class, I did so many takes, but that was because I had a script. This one is like completely scriptless. I'm like completely going off the dome. I think I said that already. This one is the heart-shaped one, and it's done. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. So I'm gonna take this off though. Yeah. And here's what they look like. There's the heart one. You can't tell it's a heart, but it's a heart to me. I will now bring my siblings down for an opinion. These are my siblings. They will be trying what I just made. And they will give their honest opinions. If they don't like it, you'll see them vomiting in the corner. Go ahead. That doesn't taste bad. It's kind of like a hash brown.
I mean, it's alright.
Let's try the cello. Like I said, it's very good. Upon eating it, did you feel like a famine German?
Yes.
Do you feel like you would eat this in a famine?
No.
I would eat this any day. I actually really like this.
I think that even in a famine, I would not eat this.
So what do you rate it out of 10?
0.
I rate this a solid, like 7.5.
I made like 6 or 7. So, you know.
I can't put into words how I feel.
Damn!
Nobody knows
But
It's
those,
not that good, but it's actually good. Like, it's good, but not good.
you wouldn't eat it every day, but you would eat it.
I mean, if I was a little German boy in a famine, this would be my meal. Like, I'd be like,
If I were a little German boy in a famine, this would not be my meal. I would starve myself.
Would you eat like any other dish? Because this is from Germany. This isn't from the United States. I couldn't find an easy one from the United States, so I took to Germany.
I like
Okay.
this food.
Say bye.
Bye.